So yeah, for those of you guys who are just coming in and that weren't on YouTube because we didn't actually we weren't actually live on YouTube during the pre-roll. Our question of the day is: should stores allow Arcazia Island in events upon release? For us, we have been, obviously we are huge promoters of it, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But we've been finding more and more events that are in the first few weeks of March that do not have Set 7 legal. And I don't understand why. So I'm curious if it's just a me thing or if it's like an actual public thing. So if you're watching now or you're watching later, and this is like in the first 10 minutes of the show, comment on the video and let me know. But we already had they should definitely be allowed on release. All right. I love this. I'm for this. We also had once cards are for sale, I think they should be allowed with proper time for people to acquire them. You should have singles and possibly even take pre-orders, first come, first serve. I'm about it. What else do we have? So if you're playing upon release constructed, you need sealed product for sale plus singles available. There you go. I'm fine. I'm down with it. I didn't really play during this time, and I certainly didn't go to those events, but correct me if I'm wrong. Star City Games, like, they very often have events on release weekends and allow for pre-order upon pickup at SCG cons, correct?
Yeah, that's kind of like, I'm going to make a video about this that 20 people will watch, and it's going to be called Why Do Stores Have Events?
Sure.
And the short answer is to sell products. Oh, it's hat time.
Oh, man, my hat never worked. What is that? You look like Helga from Hey Arnold. What is going on right now?
It's my Tweedledee outfit.
Oh, okay.
You're wearing your Tweedledum outfit. I'll show you my next ICL photo.
All right, we're just gonna do the whole show like this. All right.
Yeah.
Hey! You can get. All right, I'll put AJ on you in mod chat for those words. All right. All right. None of that. All right. You don't just get to say whatever you want to, Jorge. All right. Oh boy. Oh boy. All right. So that was a fun way to start the show, right?
Yeah.
Am I right?
It's always a surprise with me. It's why I'm not allowed on anything super official.
Oh my God. So yeah, we're gonna talk about it a little later on, but I figured, hey, we'll open it up to see how people feel about it. I know how I feel about it. I know how you feel about it, but we'll see. There is listen, guys. I don't know why or how or when Thursday nights started to be like cover the drama. All right, but apparently Dick Burns loves drama. So
you know what? I love getting $12 instead of $8 for ad revenue. So
oh, okay. All right. Well, with that, let's talk about the drama.
Yep.
So Dick, I only copied and posted the tweet, but I forget what I was doing when this went out. Where was I? What was I doing when this went out? Because I actually didn't read this post until like 2 hours ago. So, I was streaming. That's right. I think I was streaming when it came out, so I just missed it. But yeah. So why don't you give me a brief summary of what Mr. Reclam had said in this wonderful tweet?
Well, first of all, people keep saying like this was slightly racist, something he said. I read over it. I don't know if I'm missing something. So if chat knows, let me know. So Ravensburger decided to suspend me until August 6th from official circuit. Here's the statement I sent them as part of the investigation. I understand the reason for this decision and need for self-work. I apologize to Jesse, those I disappointed, IKL, and the TCG community. So first of all, hopefully this means Worlds is before August 6th. Because he didn't say I was removed from Worlds and I am suspended until August 6th. So the fact that they didn't put him on the website as being qualified is hopefully a good thing. That
I think so. I mean, don't get me wrong. I feel like that could have just been, maybe that was like public information, so he didn't feel necessary to like say it.
Yeah.
There's that, but I don't know. Who knows?
Well, we can just hope. But yeah, so the long and short of it was that he said that since he had cheated in the past and since he wanted to set a great example going forward, he decided everyone needs to play by the exact rules to the T, whether it helps him or not. And he does understand that in this instance, it did help him. However, you know, as a lot of people pointed out in his comment section, well, it didn't help him when he didn't call it the game previous.
Yep.
So,
yep. Yeah. I have a couple things to say, but I wanted to. All right, just so we're clear. All right, I highlighted a very specific line here, and the line was, "My goal was to be technically correct according to the rules." Okay. So I just want to make this real clear for everyone that anyone that commented on the video a couple weeks ago that we, kind of went through this, and you're like, oh, well, like, he wasn't wrong. Okay. He literally went out of his way to say, I wanted to technically be correct, which means he knows he wasn't. Like, he knows he wasn't. He knows it was wrong. He literally wrote in the statement, well, I know it was wrong, but I knew I could get away with it.
He said in the statement, I knew what his intentions were, but wanted to hold him to being technically correct.
Which means he's a fucking cheater, guys. All right? He's a cheater. Period. You're never going to convince me anything otherwise. I'm never going to blame the judge, even though he was wrong. Never going to blame that guy. I'm only ever going to blame this guy. And I think that it's ridiculous that this guy even makes this statement. And I honestly, I'm not one like to be this judgmental about a situation, but wherever he does show up in that first event after August 6th, I honestly, I am like, hand to God, I'm praying that his opponent in every single round calls a judge, just because.
You can always ask for a table judge.
Yeah.
If you feel uncomfortable with your opponent, just so anyone out there knows.
So, yeah. And then if everyone else saw, I added at the end, you can see he wrote sorry, except he didn't anywhere in his statement. So I just wrote it on there for him real quick in the highlighter because, I think you're supposed to say it at the end of these things. Not sorry. And this is the real truth. He, in the statement, I had no idea of this. He's 22 years old. Okay. He's immature. That is beyond obvious at this point. He's an immature little kid that's probably never been punched in the face in his entire life, because that is the only way that you would ever make a statement like this, is if you do not understand or do not accept the fact that you actually did something wrong. And that's it. Like, literally in the statement, he doesn't even really admit that he did anything wrong.
Yeah, he said like the judge was on his side. So yeah. And then he made another statement, and it was something to the effect of, in case people didn't understand what I was saying, I was right.
Yeah. like he just doubled down.
Yeah, like when you got Albert like yelling at you in your comment section, you messed up. Like, he wrote the rules. Yeah. Well, he didn't write the rules. He wrote the handbook.
Albert already went and like bashed this guy anyway, but
yeah.
Man, that's frustrating. It really is. Like, I believe very often, in times of like, all right, we can probably forgive people. We can probably let things go. But if you're the type of person that isn't even willing to admit you were wrong, that isn't even willing to apologize, like, I'm sorry, you have no hope. Like, I have no hope for you. Like, I'm not for one moment gonna like let it go. I'm not gonna for one moment just assume like, oh, it's gonna be fine on August 10th. It's not, frustrating.
I would have, if he was going to go this route, I would have preferred the Conor McGregor. I apologize to no one. Like, just if you're going to be like, hey, listen, I didn't do it, just tweet and be like, suck it and move on. You gotta get us in trouble.
It's funny. That was funny. That was funny.
Yeah. Hopefully we never have to talk about this again. But.
Yeah. At this point, you know, at this point, I would just go on with the inevitably we'll have another reason to talk about him because clearly he's just going to come back and cheat and get caught again. And like, hopefully at that point, Ravensburger's like, all right, guys, 3 strikes and you're out, like whatever. But
yeah. But so many people sent this to me because we made the original video. So
yeah. I got a lot of it too, but it is one of those where just frustrating. In other news this week, Mr. Dick Burns,
drama alert.
What is a storm is brewing?
Yeah, I have no idea. Let's see. Hello, fellow Lumineers. We're thrilled to announce that after much thought and reflection, we're taking an exciting step forward in the evolution of our team. As part of our ongoing growth and commitment to our fans, we'll soon be known by a brand new name, Maelstrom. This change is more than just a fresh identity. It's about embracing our future, strengthening our community, continuing to deliver the highly competitive insight and unforgettable experiences you've come to know and love. While our team may be adopting a new name, one thing will remain the same: our dedication to giving you the best content, coaching, and advice to be the best Illumineer that you can be both in and out of a competitive space. We can't wait to begin with this new chapter with you, and we're counting on your continued support as we embark on this incredible journey together. Stay tuned for more updates and get ready for the exciting things ahead. With gratitude, Maelstrom. Yeah, so
with
our
gratitude.
Friends. What?
With gratitude.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, some of our friends went ahead and apparently broke off from Labyrinth and started their own thing. So, I mainly just wanted to say, good luck. Awesome. I think this is great. We'll finish the drama from the other guy and move on to good things, apparently. So,
yeah. Before we get to that, kudos for betting on yourself is my first response. So our second one here, right, is the response for Labyrinth, right, which is a few days ago, the entire Disney Lorcana roster decided to part ways with Labyrinth TCG. As the owner of the organization, I feel that a public explanation is needed. Labyrinth TCG is a startup business that I operate as a hobby. I experience authentic joy managing this brand. It is a licensed/registered business, so I approach many aspects of the organization as such. Over the course of the year, since the inception of Labyrinth TCG, I have become more and more business-minded. Unfortunately, I became so business-minded that I lost the sense of the player's humanity. There is an extremely thin line between staying a friend and trying to manage the players while pressuring them to rise to greatness. I unfortunately chose the latter. I recognize my wrongdoings. However, I will consider each and every one of them as a true friend and wholeheartedly wish them the best in all their future endeavors. What we created together will forever be part of the Disney Lorcana history, and I have nothing but love for them. This is not the end of an era. This is a learning experience we all endure, and this will make us stronger in the end. I am diligently working on next steps for the organization. This organization will prevail. We will succeed. That's just,
just typical business.
Yeah, between both statements, there's not really much to take from it. There is a side of it that looks like I'm betting on myself. And there's another side of it that's saying like, hey, bad stuff happened and we're going to move forward. So interesting.
Yeah.
I sadly don't have anything to really report for you guys. It's not like I have some dirt or some detail or anything like that. But it was interesting. There was, I think 2 technical streams that kind of continued the story. Wonder started it on his story a little bit, and then JDZ was streaming, and R&B came on and gave a little bit more. And I assume that over the course of time, we'll hear more and more about it. But in general, I just think there was clearly a difference of opinions, and there was enough difference of opinions to walk away. So,
yeah, I mean, I've owned several businesses where I hired friends, and like it's gone one way or the other, where like they were amazing or it ended the friendship. Funny enough, so when I owned my thrift store, I hired my parents and my grandparents mainly just sit there and like watch TV all day, and I just paid them so that we didn't get robbed. And I ended up firing my dad.
Okay.
He just wasn't good for the business. No hard feelings. I was just like, hey, gotta let you go. I mean, like at the end of the day, we have to separate business from friendship. So
yeah, and you know, yeah, sure, we'll go down this route. TFM has had issues, right? Like we're not going to sit here and say like, oh, everything is hunky dory and everything is great and everything is even. Like we've had players come on the team, we've had players leave the team. We're not as openly public about everything. We're not. Oh, you fired Scott. That's actually funny. But this is just teams, right? Like that's just what it is. I do think that as public as this was, it in some ways it can hurt all parties, if I'm being completely honest. So there is a little bit of risk involved, even for leaving and things like that, because starting anew is not easy. Starting fresh is not easy. Obviously they have a great following, and I'm sure they'll be fine. But it can be difficult to start over. But if the intentions are right, if you think it has to happen, then again, kudos for betting on yourself. And I think that that's the big takeaway here is we probably won't know really what any of this was about for maybe ever. And it certainly isn't my story to tell. So even if I were to find out, I probably wouldn't tell anyone anyway. I would definitely just leave it to them to do it because it's their story, not mine. But I do think it's interesting. And I think that it showcases, like, in a world of Disney Lorcana where, a lot of it is happy-go-lucky, and we're just all like friendly. Like real shit still happens. Like at the end of the day, this was a business, and the business literally woke up to no employees. It's like that serious. So it's difficult to mix the two things from time to time, but like it is a reality that that's exactly what happens. Like you woke up and everybody quit their job.
Yeah.
So
this is unrelated because we don't know the backstory, but could be related. Is like certain businesses I've had, it's been like impossible to have employees. Like when you own a card shop, it's very difficult to have employees. When I was buying and selling stuff for eBay and Amazon, like as soon as the people know how to do it themselves, there's very little downside for them to just do it themselves. Right. So like you need to find like that perfect balance of someone who's very risk adverse, but very good at what they do. It's very hard to find somebody in that realm.
Yeah. Very fair. Very fair. But speaking of good news, unlike Dick Burns, who is not a member of the ICL Round 1, TFM won yesterday, guys. Woo woo. Shout out to Christian, Melissa, and Dale. Not as much Dale because he got beat by a Robin Hood meme deck, but he tried. And but yeah, it was great. The ICL Round 1, we picked up the win, which was nice. Everything for them is on their YouTube channel. The live streams are always up and things like that. I think you might be able to find it on Wonder streams. I don't remember if Wonderland keeps his video feeds up or not. I have no idea. But they are certainly on the ICL YouTube channel, which is great to see. There was a lot of highlight videos and clips that were made that I think is fun. So it was a good time. All in all, A+ effort. We were going into round 3 with the ability to be the first sweep, and instead we lost to a bunch of Robin Hoods. So
it was brutal. That deck was so much fun. It was so much fun watching, even though we were getting destroyed. I had a great time in chat all night.
AJ,
I was
delete
doing
that
nothing.
comment. Don't start.
I was doing nothing with talking trash all night, and the chat seemed to enjoy it. So I mean, it's nothing but fun, the entire thing. Like, there's nothing on the line. So, like, I think it's great to, like, cut WWE style promos all day, every day.
Yeah, it's really funny because we were talking about it afterwards. We were looking at the brackets and who won and who lost. And listen, you might be eating your words, bro. All right. There might be a round 2 showing with some people that you've been talking shit on. All right. So you better
Yeah,
be
I
ready
mean,
for it.
hopefully that's the point, right? Like, John Cena doesn't, like, start trash talking someone on Monday Night Heat. Yeah.
But yeah, so it should be fun. And honestly, I hope that's kind of what it is. Like, as it goes on, as more people have the ability and the freedom to kind of like express themselves in those ways, I do think it's fun. I think it's like it's hilarious to me that like by default we kind of have to be these weird heels because no one like everyone's just like too afraid to not have fun. Like they're all just like, oh, it's all cute, it's all fun. It's like, guys, like we can have some fun. Like it's okay. Like it's all right to make fun of someone as long as it's in like good faith. Which is exactly why I can punch jabs at Dale for getting beat up by Robin Hoods. Like it's all fun, guys. It's all fun.
Yeah, we need other teams to start talking trash because let's be honest. All right, let's just be honest.
Yeah.
No one else has a personality but me. And like, aside from Villain Club, they're all great. No one else has a personality but me. I put ICL on the map. Okay, that promo I cut on Villain put ICL from in front of maybe 50 eyes all the way to what is it, the LC triple Z7?
I don't know. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it got everyone talking about the ICL and the things that can happen in the ICL. All right. And I made the ICL.
And now look at you.
Now look at me. Looking like the birthday boy.
Oh my God. What is going on? What is going on? Okay. All right, guys. Seriously.
We're getting serious now.
No, we're not. But we know all the cards of set 7. Is that exciting?
Yes. I wish, I really, like I said, Natalie didn't upload this yet. Like I'm going to say, anywhere between today and 5 years from now.
Future past Dick said future stuff that past year said.
I'm so glad that we only had 2 weeks of reveals because I've only ended a couple of friendships this time. All right. Usually it's like you have a whole month to argue with people. But I do wish they waited still closer to the set release because people are still fighting over hypotheticals.
Right.
Even though they could, just like make the decks on Dreamborn and actually, when people sit down and think about all the cards they said they were putting in their deck and they realize their deck is 172 cards.
Right.
It's a problem.
Right. Sure. I mean, you're not wrong.
I know.
But it is a little funny. And hey, some people listen. Sometimes you gotta let them dream, right? Sometimes.
I try to reason with people once.
Okay.
And when they want to argue, then it's over.
Okay.
And by over, I mean I'm not talking to them anymore, and the friendship is done. Oh God.
I'm pretty excited. I do think that I'm shout out to Dreamborn. They already have the whole set up on Dreamborn, which is awesome. There was like a huge dump in the Discord today, like in the official Discord of just like all of the cards and all the languages. So they were able to get them up, which is awesome. Very, very nice because now we can start building decks and start making content around it. I'm so excited. Because it's not fun doing it without decks because people are always like, oh, what do the deck lists look like? And you're like, well, there's only like 5 cards in Dreamborn, so I couldn't actually make a deck, so but it was fun. I think I guess just like what are your overall thoughts of the set? Are you happy, sad, medium?
I think the set's great.
Okay.
I don't know if like the Sapphire universe we're about to live in is good for the game, but I think that there are definitely impactful cards. Which, like, when we're getting this many cards, we're getting 204 cards every 3 months. It's hard to like cut other cards that we're used to playing. So like, it is a good thing that people want to play 170 cards, right? They do have to whittle it down, but I do think that there are a decent amount of cards in this set that are going to be highly impactful to the metagame, which is a big win for Ravensburger because currently people don't have a reason to buy cards. But like if they're going to be losing at locals, then maybe they have to buy cards. Like we've had some set releases where we're just like, yeah, just play your Ruby Amethyst deck from set 3 and you're good.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I think Ruby Amethyst is like a core one right now that I'm currently convinced that you cannot play that deck right now. So
yeah, it's nice. I'm pretty sure that deck is at least tier 2.
Yeah, I think it's definitely taken some hits, and it's really only taken the hits because it has not gotten a real upgrade. Like, even Ruby Amethyst, it's not necessarily the best shark deck either. So you're really talking about like two sets of cards that Ruby Amethyst didn't get functionally that much help. Even by the end of the set, like they were also kind of getting away from genies and going back to rabbits. So it's just interesting to me that like as it developed and as the decks became more and more successful, they just didn't get any real tools, and then it just continued to show that like they got no tools again. So at what point does the strength of the Amethyst core from set 2 finally just like not have enough? And we can make the same comment about Amber for what it's worth. Like, at what point is Rapunzel, Cinderella, and Ariel just like that's all I mean, Dick, I'm going to be honest. There's not a single playable Amber card. Like Amber only, there's not a single playable Amber card in set 7. Doesn't exist.
That's great because I love playing Amber Steel. So if I don't have to think about adding any new cards, that's great for me. Because singing is still, I'm gonna say it, broken.
It's broken.
Singing is still broken. Ruby Amethyst. This was like Conor McGregor versus Mayweather, right? Mm-hmm. Conor looked great in the first 3 rounds, and then Mayweather is Sapphire. All right, he let all the other colors look great, and then boom, just finishing things.
Yeah. So, all right, while we're all here again, right, before we move forward into this conversation, I'm going to ask one more time, all right? And the question is, should stores allow Arcazia Island in events upon release? And this means, if your store has a 1K planned on the opening weekend or the following weekend, like if it's March 8th or March 15th, like should set 7 be legal for those tournaments? Let me know. I'm very curious because this is a conversation that Dick and I have been having a lot recently, like a ton. I mean, so I'm like very, very curious on like what it is. So if you haven't, right, let us know. While we're doing that, Dick, can you tell me some of the benefits to having, these cards being legal upon release?
Benefits as of the players or the store?
Let's say the store.
So the benefits of the store are you are going to sell your product and you're going to sell it before people can ship it online at a discount. Especially if your customers are stingy, this might be the only time you're going to sell sealed product where you actually make a profit. Not only that, if you open any amount of product, you're going to be able to sell the singles in person without paying shipping or TCG player fees. So if you're a store, this is like every set release is like kind of like the time that you can make money. Like if you're a store, you're basically a teacher. Like you get summers off, except your summer is every 2 months that you're not selling much product because people are saving up for the next set release. So yes, stores, the benefit, they actually get to sell something for once. If you're a player, the benefit is you've been playing with the same cards for at least 3 months in the same meta. And if you're someone that likes to brew stuff, this is going to be your best shot of actually winning a tournament when you catch people completely off guard. So the downside, if you are a player, is you might be paying a premium for the stuff. But if you are the type of person who's going to be playing in an event that's like a 1.5K or a 10K tournament or whatever big tournament, you should feel like you have a good chance of winning that, and that the small investment now is well worth it.
Yeah, I kind of get behind this, right? So for Arcazia, I'm sorry, for Azurite Sea, opening day of release, well, the day after release, we held a 1.5K at the Encounter, Comics and Games, and the event sold out with 48 players. Honestly, it sold, I think, 55 seats for that event, but we couldn't fit anywhere. We actually had 49 players. I remember we technically didn't have a 50th, like a 25th table, but we were allowed to allow 49 players to sign up because there could be a buy and it would be okay. So these were players, right? We're not talking about like just players in Lehigh Valley, by the way. You know, we had players drive 2-3 hours to play and participate in this tournament on the opening weekend of Azurite Sea, of Azurite Sea. So guess what? It was so good. It was so successful. We're like, hey, we're going to do it again. And, you know, here we are on February 20th. Happy birthday, Brian. Shout out to you, by the way. And there is already 32 of the 48. Actually, I think it's now 34 of the 48 seats are already pre-registered, prepaid for. People are already committed to playing in this tournament, and we're still 3 weeks away, and it's just like in the middle of Allentown. Like it's in the middle of nowhere, you know, greater Philadelphia area, that players are excited to play with Set 7. And I bring this up because as a player, you know, in my humble opinion, number one, this Azurite Sea metagame is the longest metagame to date. Because of the 2-week extension to set release, generally speaking, the set should be releasing tomorrow, but it's not, because Ravensburger had said that, you know, with the 2 month or with the holiday, they basically included the Christmas and New Year's as part of like a business holiday on the year, so they actually extended to 2 weeks of set release because of that. They planned for it, so that means this whole set now went 2 weeks longer than any other scheduled reset. Also, set 7 was the first one that was, you know, like a questionable thing. Like, we didn't know all the rules for set 7, because when the game first came out, we knew the rules for set 1 through 6 were going to be stores get it 2 weeks early, big box get it 2 weeks later. That's how we always knew it was going to be. Now, we learned this, for at least now, we don't know, we didn't get a greater statement than this, but for now, we know that has remained the same. But it's still an extra 2 weeks. So as a player, and definitely players that all they've done for the last 3 months, well, 3.5 months, is go to their leagues on a weekly basis, maybe attended a local 1K or something like that, and of course set championships. Like, they have now been playing that metagame already for 3 months. We've already reached the limit of what we are used to. And we're normally excited because, like, oh, cool, this weekend I'm going to go open up packs, I'm going to be able to play with new cards, yada, yada, yada. That's not even happening. Now we have 207 cards, or 204 cards already, plus the Enchanteds, and we have all this information, and we have to wait 3 weeks to play with it. So, like, for me specifically in this particular situation, I think stores should be foaming at the mouth to allow this set into their tournaments, because players on average should be foaming at the mouth to play with these cards because of just like sheer boredom of playing with the same set for so long. But I don't know, you know, I understand some points of it, right? And I understand that I am definitely probably different than most people. Not everyone that plays Disney Lorcana buys 100 boxes of Disney Lorcana or more, right? So for me, having a playset opening weekend it's just like it already exists, right? Like, in my mind, I can already play any deck in the game on that Saturday, but I know that I'm like a very small percentage of Disney Lorcana. But I ironically think the game gets away with it again, because in this particular set, some of the most powerful cards are commons and uncommons. Like, yes, there are some star-studded legendaries and rares, and there are some ones that you're like, oh man, I really want to get into that. But if you told me opening weekend, I'm going to play in some tournament that gave me a 1.5K, or, we can talk about this one too, or, 10 cases, right? Like, these are 2 events opening weekend. Guess what, guys? Southside Gaming, 150 players, they're sold out. You can see it right there.
Been sold out.
Of 150 role players. This is set 7 legal, right? So you're telling 150 players are traveling to Miami to play with set 7. But what the secret here is that if all I need for my Ruby Sapphire deck is a Sapphire Coil and maybe a Bell, well, that's commons and uncommons. Awesome. If I wanted to play an aggro deck, and don't worry, guys, we're going to make a particular video all about this, but if I wanted to just play an aggro deck, I can just play Amethyst Steel Dock and literally just put Cobras in my deck, and my deck is just like, it's literally just better. So, and this is just 2 like simple examples. If you just wanted to play and be successful and not break the bank, you can do it at the cost of commons and uncommons. Not difficult at all. And it's like really super straightforward. So, do I expect the metagame to be broken on March 8th? No. Do I expect people to show up and have crazy, Sapphire Steel item decks and crazy Ink Geyser deck? Yeah, I do. Because that's what people are excited for. But it's not telling everyone, like, hey, you don't have to spend $400 on brand new cards to participate in a tournament. You can just spend a couple dollars, get your deck, go into the event and play, and then develop further. And not to mention, if you told me if all I had to do was buy 4 of an uncommon to play Amethyst Steel week 1 and go in and I can top 8 and all of a sudden I just like win a case, like what am I buying product for anyway? Like, I just spent, let's just go high. Let's just say I spent $10 on 4 uncommons. I bet on myself in the deck that I've already was good with that I'm just going to win a case. So why would I even buy product? So I don't know. That's why for me, I think the system is literally presented to you to give you the best ability to actually get the best of both worlds, if you wanted to take it that way.
Yeah, I think that I can name 5 stores around me that if they had a 1K, you're not getting the cards that you need. Okay. And those stores should just run release events, like sealed release events. And they should cater to the players that don't want to go to a 10 case tournament or a 1.5K. But I think that the players that want to actually go to a 1.5K, like that's another thing. Like some people are answering, and not even in our chat here, like some people are answering in private chats I'm in, who I have never seen at a competitive event before.
Sure.
So it's like, I don't know why you're bothering answering. Like, yeah, of course you don't want the new set to be legal. You don't buy cards ever. So like, if you're someone like, if you're looking for competitive players, if you're running a 1K or higher, you're looking for competitive players only. Right? Because the casual players are going to feel fleeced when they walk in and they spent $40 or whatever, and everyone is playing with all the best stuff. So that's one thing. 2, at the end of the day, it is a trading card game. Like, you don't have to just buy 4 of every card day 1. You and your 3 friends can all buy a couple of boxes and probably get what you need if you're not all greedy about it.
Right.
Like, there are plenty of options out here. So I just think that a lot of stores and a lot of businesses don't understand the business of trading card games, and they are trying to make every single person happy, whether that hurts their bottom line or not. That's where I'm at.
Yeah. And really the conversation started, and it's not even because of the week 1. To me, it's certainly because of the week 2. But there are events in my area, there are events in your area that are legitimately, a week after release, a full week after release, and they're like, oh, we're not going to have set 7 legal. And I'm like, I don't even want to come to your store. Like, you literally just told me don't come. It was just like, all right, like,
This event is not for you.
If I wanted to, and we're talking about like, listen, there's a legitimate reason for me to get on a plane and fly somewhere for some of these events, because I'm like, you know what, this is going to be for another YouTube video, like for another podcast, but like my goals in Disney Lorcana have changed this year. All right, it's a very different year for me than it was last year. And my goals are pretty much incentivizing me to play Disney Lorcana as often as possible. So if from day one, I'm like, all right, here's set 7, we're going to hit the ground running, we're going to be prepared for like whatever it is. And you're like, hey, it's not even legal. Well, then you literally just eliminated your whole store from my existence of my brain. You mean nothing. So I think that's the problem, is that it's very focused. And to me, as a store, it makes no sense to not do it. It's either run a tournament with just sealed product, which is also just fine. That's great if that's what you want to do, right? But shout out to JDZ Quest. Thank you for the raid, buddy. I see it over here now because I got the screen up. Thank you. But like,
so Ponder,
if you're gonna host a constructed tournament, and it's not going to be with set 7, and it's after its release, I don't even know who your audience is. I literally don't know.
Yeah. I mean, if owning a store is your hobby, whatever. But like, if it's your business, if it's your income, you have a fiduciary duty to make money, sell product. Yeah. Whether it's selling the singles or the boxes to your constructed players or selling sealed tournaments.
Yeah.
That is, I think, should be the biggest takeaway from here, because some of the arguments I'm seeing are, well, my boxes aren't going to be in yet from TCG player.
Yeah, it's like,
well, why are you running the tournament?
Yeah,
it's just to sell other people's stuff for them.
Yeah,
like you are paying the rent in your space.
Right.
Sell your stuff.
Yeah.
I just want stores to be successful. If everyone's buying everything on TCG player, like, where are we going to play the cards?
Right. Yeah. And like, listen, we'll go back to this, right? We'll talk from experience, okay?
Oh, yeah.
We're going to talk from experience, okay? Because, again, we push the Encounter. They are basically, for all intents and purposes, an official sponsor of the Forbidden Mountain, okay? I should put their logo on the new jerseys. I swear to God I should.
Yeah.
But, like, the point is that this store can only hold 50 people. We just told you it's 49 players. And let's just say the number of boxes purchased was 100 boxes. Okay. Well, guess what? By Sunday afternoon, there were 0 boxes left in that store. This store literally sold every single box it purchased for probably between $110 and $120.
And almost all the singles. It's like
oh yeah. The singles, it was cleared out.
Yeah. We don't work there, but we have eyes. Like, we could see that their case was empty.
Yeah.
And this is a store that keeps like stuff on hand. It's not like,
honestly,
because most people might think like, oh, my local game store singles got cleared out. Okay, that was $20.
No. This is like, shout out to Keith. He's doing from day one, from the moment that the Encounter was invested in Lorcana. I knew that I had to be a part of them, and I knew that I had to get on, like, literally on board with them, because from day one, he has always been interested in seeing Disney Lorcana in our community succeed. In all honesty, I say this all the time. Philadelphia sucks for Lorcana. Like, there is no competitive scene. There's just local league nights that are playing for $30. Like, that is the best thing that I can do anywhere within an hour from my house. So I have to go to Greater Philadelphia to these stores that are committed to hosting bigger events. This store is 90 minutes from me, like 85 minutes if I'm being, for real. But it's like, they're the only ones that are committed to Lorcana. So therefore, I have to commit to Lorcana. But this guy, like the other day, he shared video. He just bought, like, I don't know, a $10,000 collection or something like that. Like, he's like, hey, you want to foil out your Amethyst Steel Dock deck? You got it. You want to foil out your Ruby Sapphire deck? Here it is. Like, the collection was unreal. So going in 2 weeks from now, people are going to walk into there, and I swear I don't even know where he's going to put everything, because he just bought a whole collection and he's going to have another 30 or 40 boxes worth of singles also in the, I don't even know where it's all going to go. But that's the thing that he's able to do. Like, he knows already. Like, we're 3 weeks from the tournament. It's going to sell out. SSG sold out. Guess what, guys? At the end of the weekend for SSG, you think they're going to have any Set 7 products laying around? No. They're not. So I say this all the time. Success leaves clues. These stores have been doing it. And SSG, for what it's worth, they did the same thing. I didn't know it at the time, but we rated them. Like, I actually did use the raid button, guys, on Twitch that day. It happened. We rated SSG that day, and they had a 98-player tournament in Miami for opening weekend. So they doubled down. We doubled down. It's all there. Like, the audience that you want for a tournament that is more than $1,000 in prizes or store credit or product, like whatever it is, it's not the audience that doesn't want to play with your Set 7 cards. Like, if you're going to run that tournament, run the tournament with the cards. Like, everybody wants to play with the new cards. It's just that simple.
Yeah.
My rant's over.
Final thing. James said to me, hey, one of the locals asked us if we could do something. All right. I'm not going to say what, because I'm not going to call him out for asking this. And James said, do you think this is something we should care about? And not because we don't care about this person, but just like, if we, I already highlighted that.
I was in my rant. I didn't even see it. Shout out to Cordy.
Like, not because we don't care about this person's opinion, but you just cannot bend over backwards for everything. You have to just decide what kind of business you are.
Yeah. And then, as far as I know, most businesses should be in the business of making money. I'm just saying.